All right, all right. Hello, hello, hello. You have joined Put a Pin in It podcast by Elisa, and we are going to have a wonderful time tonight. Corey Page said, "We here. Let's represent greatness as we see it." Elisa. That's how I say it every week. I didn't say it like that. Hey, Aunt May. How you doing, Aunt May? Hey, Marco, my brother is here. Aunt May, wait, I got to pause for a minute. We got to put a pin in it. Aunt May makes the best strawberry cake I have ever tasted in my entire life. It's so fluffy, it's so moist. It is like heaven on earth. So every time I go home, I'll be like, oh my God, I hope Aunt May made a cake. I hope Aunt May. And guess what, y'all? Even if she hasn't made a cake, she will make one. You don't understand. You need people like Aunt May in your life. Hello, Kimberly Jordan. How are you? Lynn Chisholm. How are you? How are you? Okay, tonight is going to be different. Okay. I'm just going to open up with just a few things that happened over the weekend that strikes our interest. You know, we over here, we watch sports and we're into watching good films. Okay. So we're going to talk about two things before we get into our real conversation tonight. Tonight, we're going to be talking about setting boundaries. We're going to be talking about setting boundaries, not walls, because boundaries and walls are two different things. We're going to be talking about setting boundaries. And my good friend, Antonio Matthews, my good brother, he's going to come on. You may know him. You may have seen him in photo ops with some very prestigious people, but he is prestigious himself. And I am so glad that I grew up with Antonio Matthews. So I've known him for years. OFW bread. And I inboxed somebody from OFWV. I'm not going to talk about that yet. But I think I'm going to have a podcast with just us that came out of that Middle Eastern district, because it's a lot of us that are doing very well. I'm gonna name a few. If you live in North Carolina, you probably know Ashley McNair. If you live in North Carolina, you probably know Alicia Blandon. You probably know Nicholas World. You know Antonio Matthew. All of us came from the same organization. They raised some good folk. And you know me, I'm sitting right here. So I was talking, I was like, they need to know how we were born and raised so they'll know, okay, y'all was really raised right. All right. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about this weekend. Okay. This weekend, we know that the NFL playoffs is going on. Don't go nowhere because we about to have a great conversation. This weekend you got the Chiefs and the Ravens. Okay, I want the Ravens to win. And is it because he's a black quarterback? Yes, it is. I want I want Lamar Jackson to go all the way. Last week he put his team on his back and they won the game because this man would not stop running the ball. I was like, oh my God, he is running like he's a running back, not a quarterback. So I really want him to win. And also the 49ers and the Detroit Lions is going to be playing. It's probably I'm not that interested in that game. But I hope that Lamar Jackson goes all the way. All right, the color purple. It is out. Okay. And it didn't do so well. And but they're getting nominated. Danielle Brooks, she's getting nominated for Best Supporting Actress for an Oscar. Don't get your hopes up, okay? Me personally, I do not think I believe the Color Purple was a wonderful film in its originality. But I'm not knocking the musical, but we have to stop, smoothing over because who was in the film and everything like that. When you talk about Oscar, you're talking about transforming and talking about when I watched this film, it made me think about gave me all the feels. It gave me everything. It didn't give me everything. And it kind of left me hanging because they were showing like little things from the original. So if you're going to show little things from the original, I need to hear God's trying to tell you something. I need to hear that. If that's what you're talking about, if you're going to give us sprinkles here and there, the table scene and all those things, God's trying to tell you something should have been a musical. That was the best music in the original. I don't understand. But anyway, if you have not watched it, guess where you can see it at? On Amazon Prime. You can rent The Color Purple already while it's already out in theaters. So that lets you know that it didn't do too well. Yes, look it up right now. If you think if I'm lying, I'm flying, and I'm sitting right in this chair. Prime Video, go on there right now, fact check me right now, and see if you can watch The Color Purple at home. You can watch it at home. And had I known that, baby, I would have kept my hips at the house and watched it this week. So I'm not praying on their downfall, no. And do I think it has something to do with this incident? Yes, I do. They're trying to say no, it's because the film wasn't that good. The film wasn't horrible. But when Taraji came out talking about, equality, so of course everybody's gonna automatically think she's talking about Oprah. She's talking about The Color Purple. So we're gonna stand with Taraji and we're not gonna watch this film. So I know Taraji's probably getting a lot of heat from that. But to be honest, it was not a good time to put it out. She didn't know that TD Jakes was going to be viral for 3 or 4 days. during this time. She didn't know. Well, I ain't gonna say she. The producers didn't know that all these things was going to be going on. And Christmas Day to put out a musical, I don't think was a good time. Okay. And like Kimberly Jordan said, a lot of movies are going to streaming real quickly lately. And it's because the pandemic has changed us. I just recently started going back to the movies. I rather stream at home, eat my food at home, and watch the movie at home. I don't understand the purpose now of going to the movies, liably catch COVID, and just no, I rather stay home. So I hate this for them. I'm glad they're getting the nominations. I don't think that they have their hopes up that they're going to get the award. But if they do, like I said prior, they really need to pay homage to the people that played in the original movie, because Danny Glover, Whoopi Goldberg, Oprah, all of them that played those Suge, that played all them that played those parts in the original movie, they made that movie. Okay. And there are a lot of people now that, there are a lot of black people that don't like the depiction of, the color purple, because how it makes you know, how it makes our black men look and all those things. But y'all, that was the times back then. That's just what it was. And so I don't know. So it took $100 million to make the color purple. Now, crickets for me on that, because 100, when I saw that price, I said, there is no way. What in the color purple would have cost $100 million? They filmed it in Georgia, which is already in the backwoods of Georgia. Georgia already looked like the color purple. So what are you shifting to make it look different? And there was no TNT, there was no blowing up, there was no nothing. What? What? $100 million? And so I think that's why it's on Prime now, because they have to make up that deficit. They only made like 54 million back. They got 50 something million to go. Well, 46 million to go. More, probably 50 something million, so they can overdo. You don't want to break even, you want to make more, but the sales have went down. So if you want to watch it, you can go to Amazon Prime and you can watch it. All right. So let me go. Don't want to tell my guests to come on. I am so we're going to be talking about boundaries tonight. So you need to like and you need to share right now. This is going to be a serious conversation. Well, not too serious. I mean, it's going to be serious. It's going to be information that you can take for your everyday life. Okay. I want to do this series because a lot of us, we think that we are setting boundaries when we're really creating walls. And that's how I used to live my life. I used to live my life walled up, not knowing that living your life walled up, you don't let anything in or out. But when you create boundaries, you stick by them, healthy boundaries, not just in romantic relationships, but in friendships, on the job, all of those things, you need to set boundaries. I remember when I didn't have any boundaries at all. And to give you a story before my guests come, I would be at work because in the military, I joined the military when I was 18. So I was younger. And in the military, I thought that I was supposed to tell my squad leader everything. If they asked me something, I'm just gonna say what it was. If they say, why were you late? I overslept. I didn't pad it. Like my coworkers padded it. I didn't pad it, And so to the point where I was telling too much of my business, to the point where my platoon sergeant and my squad leader came to my house because they thought that I don't know what they thought. I just didn't understand it. And when I was told that, I was like, I don't understand why they did that. But it happened. But it came about because I didn't have any boundaries. And so like the end of my career, I was able to say, hey, you don't really have to say all that. You don't really have to tell people that. You don't really have to, you have to create boundaries. All right. And so it is with your friendships, and so it is with relationships. Okay. All right. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I understand. But anyway, do anybody have any questions? Go ahead and put your questions in if you have any questions. Because we gonna get deep tonight. Antonio is very deep. We're gonna get deep tonight. I'm gonna get deep right along with him. Anybody, put your questions in so we can make sure we answer them. Relationship, work, anything like that. Nobody have any questions? Lord have mercy. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna go ahead and start. And so there are some things that I've noticed with being single. People will ask. First of all, they'll ask you, have anybody been asked this question? Why are you single? Why are you single? Right? Why are you single? And when I respond with, because I choose to be, then it's another question that says, oh, well, something must be wrong with you because you're single. um, listen, hold on, let me see. Who is buying into Taraji P. Henson narrative about how the black women were treated on The Color Purple? Um, I don't think it was the black women all of it by themselves. She was saying that the whole cast, but the cast is mainly black women. Um, I'm gonna touch on this, but then we're gonna move forward. My thing is this: like when it comes to The Color Purple, when Taraji and they was doing their promotions and everything like that, do I feel like Taraji should have waited to express what she was feeling and everything like that? Yes, I do. Because it shed a light, a dim light on, what was really happening. They made this film and everybody is, excited because you got Fantasia, you got Taraji, you got Danielle Brooks, you got all of these stars on this cast, right? And now you have one of the biggest stars, Taraji, is crying over everything. Every she was crying over everything. Every interview, she was crying. And I believe Taraji has a lot more going on than what she's putting on, right? Taraji is she's very she's spoken about out about her mental illness. And I've been watching her. If you've noticed, her face and everything has gotten a little bit bloated. So that could be like she may be drinking more, or or she's depressed, eating more. I've noticed that in her eyes, she doesn't seem happy. So I don't think it's just this film. I think that she has inner issues that is going on and it spilled over into what was happening. And I think what happened on the set triggered her. She got triggered, and when she was asked the question, she just let everything fall out. And she wasn't the only one saying anything. Daniel Brooks said something too. Like they didn't have no food. Why would she say that? But she said it. They didn't have no food. And so, everything like that. So I just feel like something else, something deeper is going on with Taraji. Do it have something to do with Oprah? Maybe it do. I mean, because Oprah has a lot of, you know, I ain't gonna say that because I don't know Oprah, but from what I can see, Oprah is very into Oprah. Okay. And everybody that is around her is into her. So whenever you kick against the grain about somebody like that, it can be a little uneasy because you don't know when they're going to pull the plug from you. You don't know any of those things. So you don't know any of those things. So you just have to I think Taraji has she should have waited. That's all I can say. I think she should have waited, and I think that now, because now everybody asking, well, what do you think about Taraji? And and then that staged interview with Gail. Of course, Gail is going to try to help her friend out, so she just went ahead and started talking about it, and nobody just. But yeah, people love. Michael said he loved Oprah. I mean, a lot of people love Oprah. Taraji begged for the role. She could have named her price. Did she beg for the role? I don't remember reading that she begged for the role. Um, I don't remember reading that. But anyway, I love T, not Oprah. Oh, you love Taraji. Yeah. So again, if you if you want to watch the film, you can go to Amazon Prime and go on and pull it up. All right, my guest is here.
Oh man, what's up?
He is not late, y'all. I told him 7:30, but
Who said I was late?
I didn't. I said because I said I'm gonna go ahead and bring you on. I'm telling
Oh
them you're not late.
no, I'm not late.
He's not late. All right. So Antonio Matthews, guys, this is my good brother, my good friend, and I already gave him a background of how we've been in OFWB all our lives. Middle Eastern,
you
you
gave
got
him
to get the
the
right
OFB
one.
spill. You gave
You
him the
you got
OFB spill.
you got to say Middle Eastern. All right, it's the difference. Is it not?
There is definitively a difference.
Yes.
Definitely a difference. It is.
Yes.
I'm with it though. I'm with it. They
Yeah.
don't know nothing about that. They don't know nothing about that.
No. But I was sitting here thinking though, Antonio, OFWB during our time has breeded some wonderful people.
You say, oh, breed it. Okay.
Breeded. You can't hear me?
Yeah, I hear
What
you
you
now.
thought I said?
I Nothing. It actually has, and because the foundation was laid not just for our ability to have church, but our spiritual maturity. There was a demand that we were spiritually mature,
Right.
and so we had great church, but there was an expectation for us to live what it is that we were. That expectation is probably not as fluid now because so
Right.
many people are enamored with having church rather than being like real examples of it.
Right.
But Yeah, they were hard on us back then, especially my uncle. My uncle was a terror on me, man. He was,
But
but
look, but look at you today.
yeah, I say that to my church all the time. I said, man, I I hated how hard he was on me, but I appreciate how hard he was on me because it helped us to develop into a space where um, we wouldn't soft. You can tell, and I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but you can tell the people who grew up with strong leadership
Right,
because they're not easily offended.
right,
And people who easily get offended are people who really have not had leadership that was strong with them. Not necessarily disrespectful, although some of it could have been, but it was a strong leadership, and we had the ability to see strength in action. And so, yeah, and people don't know that. People don't know that you grew up OSWB. You are so far. Hold
I am not.
on.
I am not.
You are so
Don't don't
far.
don't put out what you perceive.
What am I saying? I didn't say
Okay,
nothing.
go ahead, finish your sentence.
I just said you are so far. Well, let me not say you. Let me just say we
Okay,
um,
we statement.
are definitively far from that. Not the foundation necessarily, but the we still have the core of it. But so somebody said your face is telling something different, or are they talking about our? Okay, no. Okay, they're talking about something else. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that was
we
the
have
conversation before.
if our forefathers saw us now
Oh no.
in relation to how we were developed and how we were, they would probably presume that we were hell
Backslidden.
bound. We were on the way to
Yeah.
hell. But thanks be to God that but I am the man I am now because of that hard foundation.
Right.
I am the person I am now because of that hard foundation, and and I'm excited about it. So,
Okay.
how you been?
I have been amazing. Trying to get this dissertation out the way, but I have been amazing. Leah Thompson said hello.
What's up, Lee? That's one of my members here in Denver. So she's one of my daughters here.
Good.
Yeah. So, oh, hey, Lee, yeah, we're gonna talk some real stuff tonight. Well, you used to that though. She's used to me talking. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about boundaries. Okay, boundaries in all types of relationships. And I want to start off with you because you are a pastor, right? Is that a yes or no?
I,
People don't know who you. They don't know you. I'm trying to introduce you right.
I, people know me. Maybe not your audience, but people know me. Yes, I am a pastor.
Okay,
I've been preaching since 5. I am a pastor. Yes.
and you are a single pastor.
Now, see, now
No, no,
why?
no, no. I'm not like how we were raised. You were not married.
Okay.
I'm not saying you're
Yes.
not in a relationship.
Okay. I am not married. Right.
Not married. So
Yeah.
how do you navigate? Okay, being a pastor and not married and knowing that the norms that we come out of mostly all the pastors that I know when I was growing up was married. Correct? Even your
No.
uncle. Even your uncle, he got married.
At 56. Don't do that. Now,
But he got married. You can't take it away.
don't do this. Listen. If we're gonna do this show with regularity, you gotta be. We this can take us, because of the authenticity of the
See,
conversation.
one of your daughters laughed. It's funny. You come on.
Because of the authenticity of the conversation, and
Okay.
I'm
Okay, I'm gonna
real
stop. I'm gonna
spill
stop.
with it.
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop.
I am
I'm gonna
not the
stop.
only unmarried pastor you've ever met and or.
That's not what I'm saying.
So
Because
what
I
are you
got another,
saying?
I have another unmarried pastor that I'm gonna talk to. That's a female.
Okay.
later on. So I'm
See, let me
what I'm
say
saying.
this. But let me say this. Let me jump on this. Let me jump on this really quickly because you said it. You got another unmarried pastor who is a female who's coming on. What's up, Chris? Right now, hey, Mama Adrian. Now, hear me. Can we talk about, before we get into this whole question I know that you want to ask me,
What's the
can we
okay?
talk about the double standard in the kingdom when it relates to unmarried male pastors and unmarried female pastors?
Yeah.
There's a double standard in the kingdom. Let me put forth this argument. The double standard is simply this: if the pastor is a female
Mm-hmm.
and she is unmarried, the vast majority of the people would submit, oh, she's holy. She's saving herself. She's such a righteous woman. She's such a woman of integrity. She's such a woman of standards and purpose. She's such a woman who has these high level standards. They celebrate her. But
Mm-hmm.
on the flip side, the double standard comes in. If there is an unmarried male pastor, he's got to be promiscuous. He's got to be a hoe. He's got to be unfaithful. He's got to be disloyal. They paint the picture as if unmarried men cannot somehow live a life that is a testament to what they represent over females, which is a strong double standard in the kingdom. The double standard is this: if
Mm-hmm.
there's a female pastor, who's unmarried, she's holy, she's righteous, she's pure, she's saving herself, she's all these wonderful accolades.
Mm-hmm.
But me, an unmarried pastor who is a male, hoe, promiscuous, uh, unholy. Um, he is all of these other things, and that stigma and that double standard. Once it's acknowledged in a reality, we have to address it. Every
Right.
pastor who is a male who is unmarried is not running through the world. Every female pastor who is unmarried ain't holy. Is there anybody that
You're
can just tell me?
talking right. Amen.
Okay,
Yo,
because we
if you
have to.
agree, if you
Yeah,
agree, tap the one. If you don't agree, tap the two.
they gotta agree. You have to. You hear more stuff. Hear me,
Mm-hmm.
about male pastors who are unmarried and the assumption of their lifestyle than female pastors who are unmarried
But you know why though?
from a negative connotation.
But you know
It
why?
just because there is a why doesn't mean it's right.
No, I'm not. I agree with you, Pastor. But I want to I want you to know. Do you know why?
I, if you're going to justify the double standard in that particular
I'm not
area, I would
justifying
love
it.
to hear it.
I'm not justifying it. But the reason the stigma is because even though we have stigmas, right? There's always a something that backs it up. It's always some type of evidence, some type of facts. And the reason why that is because most male pastors are always caught in something.
So what you're saying here is what my rational intellectual ear just
I'm
heard.
just telling you
No,
that's
let me
why.
tell you what I heard. Let me tell you
Okay.
what I heard you say. I heard you say women are better at being sneaky than men.
No. Well,
What?
yeah, yeah, we are.
Because
Yeah.
you just said that the male pastors most male seem to be getting caught, and female pastors are not. So what you're saying is that the female pastors
They check
are
the
just
phones at the
as
door. Y'all let them film.
we're gonna do that.
I'm just saying. I didn't want to go there, but I'm just saying that's the reason. But I don't believe that. I believe that if you're holy and I believe in that. I don't believe that,
No,
a
what is
male
holy?
is better than what you mean? What is it? You know what holy is?
No. There is the assumption of holiness, and then there's the actual definition of holiness. So you gotta to the people, to the novice who may not be, what is holiness according to authentic theological standards, and what's holiness in relation to what you believe? What is holiness?
All right. To me, holiness is first of all, um, I believe holiness is more so how you treat each other, because holiness, you're okay. I gotta put it in the right wording. I believe holiness is more of how we treat each other. That's what I believe, because God is holy and we're trying to be like him. We are his representation in the earth. So I feel like your holiness, people should be able to see it. That's what I feel. It's not a definition, a deep thing for me. I feel like when somebody encounter me, they should encounter his holiness. That's what I feel. So therefore I don't treat people different. I treat everybody the same and all, and I don't even and I don't my I don't know. That's just what I believe.
Holiness in no uncertain terms is definitively not perfection. It is the ability or to posture our heart to simply in a simplified definition. Holiness is the simple posturing of the heart to ensure that my life pleases God as much as possible. And I begin to reflect. It's a reflection that I begin to reflect who God is in the earth. Now,
And that's what I do too.
in my humanity, well, you said in relation to other people, but
No, I'm
it's
saying they should be able to see his holiness through me. That's what I
the
said.
reflection of God. They should be, and so you understanding that in retrospect, you can't say that a woman is more holier than a man because you don't know her stuff.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say you said it. I'm saying the assumption
Oh,
of the world is that because I don't know her stuff, I'm assuming because she's a woman, because the expectation of women in the posture of maintaining themselves is
mm,
so high, the assumption is simply they are doing it well and the male pastors are doing it unwell. And I think once we rid ourselves of that particular double standard, because there are male pastors who are not married, but who misses out on opportunities because they're not married. I had a bishop literally tell me, I'm not going to bring you to my church unless you're married. And
wow.
so, but they got all these single female pastors they're inviting.
Mm,
The double standard is authentic. And so, in relation to that, that's the only thing that I think should be a deeper conversation. Why there is always the assumption from a male perspective that the men are not honoring God even in their private areas, just like the sisters are, if they
got
are. And
got
so yes, I am, I mean, of course I didn't want to, no, I'm not married. And the question was, how do I maintain the healthy conversation is, and I teach this all the time, Lisa, it is boundaries.
right.
And I wrote something down the other day that any person that doesn't operate under real boundaries is a person that really hasn't tapped into who they really are authentically.
Right. I agree.
Because if you really knew who you were and you knew what God has placed in you and you knew how awesome you were, you wouldn't allow access to everyone because of the treasure and the commodity that you're carrying.
Right.
And this is so weird. We buy a car made by a man and we insure it.
Mm-hmm.
We buy a house made by developers who are human. We insure it. We buy jewelry and we insure it. We don't play with houses. We don't play with cars. We don't play with jewelry, but we play with us.
Right.
Boundaries is our insurance policy that says, you know what? I've got to be able to protect me because I know what I'm carrying.
Right.
And when I know what I'm carrying, I understand that I've got to protect it. Watch this, because everybody I come in contact with is not going to protect me the way I protect me.
Right.
And this is why you see so much betrayal in the kingdom, is because there was no vetting before there was access.
Right.
There was no vetting before there was access, because people get into a space of vulnerability and they would rather have company than authentic companionship.
Right.
And eventually, if your company has not been vetted,
Right.
they will break up your whole commodity. And so I have to protect the spaces I'm in.
Right.
I've got to protect the space that I go in. And I got to protect me and ensure that I'm not allowing access to anything and anyone that could really damage me. Boundaries, there's a book that you got to read that's called Set Boundaries and Find Peace.
Okay.
Set boundaries. And
Set
the premise of the
boundaries.
book really gives you the importance of boundaries. It says you got to be able to recognize and understand the crucial role that boundaries play in maintaining mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Why are people so broken? Why are some pastors' private places being exposed? Is because they allowed access to people that were not vetted.
Right.
They allowed access to people that were not trustworthy. They just had a trustworthy facade. And so if you want to protect the sanctity of your life,
Right.
of your mental health, of your emotional stability, if you want to protect the sanctity of your relationships, because even in counseling, the most couples that break up are couples that don't have boundaries.
Right.
The mother-in-law, the father-in-law is all in a business. There's nothing that is private to the couple. Everybody knows their stuff. Everybody knows their business. And once you involve everyone and their opinions and their thoughts and their ideals, man, you're setting yourself up for major disaster. And so for
Major.
me, and seeing how the world is intentional about destroying the lives of people who are human but have a heavenly anointing, but sometimes their humanity gets in the way.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have the right people around you,
You do.
not to protect your narcissistic behaviors or cover your demonstrative evilness,
Mm-hmm.
but just to protect the sanctity of who you are. I'm not saying protect all, no, I'm saying you got to have people who going to cover you in all spaces of life, who can see your anointing and your humanity. You know, and so me, I've seen so much. Why are you so private? Why are you so this? Because I've seen people, and you know it. I've seen people. So relationships. My relationships are protected, whether it's platonic or my dating relationship. It's covered because I'm in a space where I'm not about to allow people who don't have clearance for my life to ruin it.
Right.
And so that's the end. But you got to read that book. Boundaries encourage self-awareness and reflection. Boundaries create perfect communication skills. Boundaries help you say no with confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Boundaries help you respect other people's boundaries. If I ain't asking you about who you with, don't ask me who I'm with.
See, this is the thing. So I was talking earlier before you came on that, you know, there's a difference between boundaries and walls, right? Some people feel like that when they're in relationships, they have boundaries, when in actuality they have walls.
Hmm.
And I was in a um group session thing when, you know, with my degree and stuff like that, and they taught us that when you have a wall up, nothing goes in and nothing comes out.
Unless you climb it.
I mean, but then you're gonna be messing up the foundation. If you tear the wall down, I'm gonna tear the wall down. That means you're gonna have a broken person still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the thing about it is, it sometimes it's great to have walls up, but when you are in a relationship, you can have boundaries, but walls is a no-no, because that means you really don't trust the person. Okay. You have to trust the person when you're in a relationship, friend or romantically or whatever. You have to trust the person in such a way that you know that they're going to respect your boundaries. Okay. Once somebody stops, a red flag for me is if I say don't call me after a certain time and you call me after a certain time, then you won't hear from me no more. Be I
Stop it.
I'm
Stop it.
serious. I am
Stop it, Lee.
serious. You are
Lisa,
my
stop.
friend. You are my friend. But I have came to a place where if I'm trying to be in like a friendship with you or in a relationship with you, I set boundaries first. When you first meet me, you probably gonna do most of the talking. I'm not gonna do all the talking. Okay, that's when you first meet me. But I when I meet people, I'm gonna go ahead and say I have walls up when I meet people. Walls. Okay, so when I let the wall come down, then I start setting boundaries. Okay, but like Renelle said, I agree, boundaries and walls are different. So if you're trying to be in a relationship with somebody, you
Man,
cannot.
I got the whole real church family on here tonight. Raynell, Leah, Adrian, Chris. Okay.
Somebody said,
I,
"What's the name of the book again?" Say the name of the book.
well, there's two books I'm gonna recommend, but the first one is Set Boundaries, Find Peace by Nedra, Nedra. Nedra. And I think you said something. You said walls are no no. I would vehemently. I do agree that boundaries and walls are different,
Right.
distinctively, but I would disagree that walls are a no no because
Okay. Wait. Pause. I didn't say they were a no-no. I said if you are in a relationship and you have walls, that's a no-no.
I don't necessarily
Okay.
agree
Tell me why.
because I think if you're dating in a relationship and the person you're dating has walls, it is up to the person who they're in a relationship with to love you so authentically that you break down your own walls. Hear me. It's my job. If I see a wall, I'm automatically submitting, okay, they've gone through something historically that broke them, and trust is scarce for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I see a wall, it puts me in a place where I'm in a space where I'm saying, okay, I want to make sure I create an experience like she's never had before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want her to look at me through the lens of her history. But I have to be able to love her and not force the walls down, but put her in the space where she trusts me to the point where her walls come down. And so walls are not necessarily bad in relationships because it does not allow the other person to be lazy in love.
Right.
And it says, okay, I am really trying to love you to the best of my ability and to create a present experience unlike your past encounter. And
Okay.
so walls, so when I see a wall, I'm asking myself, like it's almost like if you see a person, um, there's a young lady who I used to know who used to be at a church I used to know. I work at a church, and I would tell the pastors, "Hey man, she's so, rigid and so mean." He says, "Yeah, man, the staff can't deal with it." Da da da. And then I said, "What you gonna do?" He said, "Man, I may have to let her go." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because she just doesn't get along, and this is back in D.C. Just doesn't get along with
Mm,
people." Da da da. And I said, "Have you ever figured out why?" I said, "Because obviously she has walls up. Obviously she's in a space where her trust has been broken, and somebody has really taken advantage of her authenticity, of her kindness or whatever. Something has happened. And I don't think you love me if you'll fire me before you find out about me.
mm,
I don't think you love me if you'll dump me without asking the questions. Dear, tell me what happened. Dear, why? Or trying to figure out, because our experiences shape our theology, and our experiences shape our ideological view of the world.
right.
So, based upon their experience, they have to present themselves this way in order for that to not happen again. They're not concerned with how other people view them from the outside. All they are concerned with is, I trusted somebody to protect me and they didn't. So I
Mm,
guess I got to protect myself. So when you see walls, you got to come into the space not like you He-Man and break it. No, you've got to be intimately connected enough to try and figure out, how can I get you to let down this so I can love you authentically. And so walls are not all bad, because it puts the person in a place to love you authentically. And so I think, so don't dismantle your walls too easily unless the person has shown that they can handle what's behind the wall. Because
okay.
a lot of people are asking what's behind the wall but not prepared to handle what's behind the wall. And even in relationships, to men, there is a whole episode on how to love a man correctly. There's a book I'm gonna recommend. I'm giving y'all all my stuff. There's a book that I'm gonna recommend to you all, especially those who desire relationships, desire marriages, and desire all this stuff, and you got plenty of walls up, and because we can't even get to the boundaries because you got the walls up.
That's what I said.
That's from and
You
so I'm
just
like,
going
all
a
right,
long way around of what I said.
no, that ain't
It
what.
is what I said.
Lisa, stop it.
I'm
Write this
not
book
trying.
down.
Oh my God. I don't want it.
Write this. Oh, you better want it. Write this book down. It's called, if y'all listening to me, Loving Him Well.
Loving him.
Loving Him Well.
Somebody type that on Facebook, please. I'm gonna
Loving
type
Him
it
Well
on
by Gary Thomas.
Gary Tom.
And it helps you understand a man's core needs, his core needs of respect, admiration, affection, physical attention, and provision. It deals with respect as the foundation of the relationship. I don't care how fine you are. I don't care how pretty you are. If the man does not sense he is respected, he will tap out.
Yeah.
He will tap out.
Mm,
Secondarily, it talks about admiration. Men, according to this book, thrive on feeling admired by their partners. Fourthly, affection beyond words and beyond romance, fostering his spiritual growth, encouraging each other spiritually. And so there are certain things that happens in relationships that even help bring and dismantle a man's walls. And so all of this stuff happens. Um, so I don't think walls are bad. I do think boundaries are necessary, though, especially in my position.
okay. So can I finish explaining? I said
Nope.
walls. Yes, I can. I said walls. I said walls are a no when you are in a relation. I should have said committed relationship.
But I just
Okay.
countered that.
No. What? And then I said also that when you bring those walls down, of course you're gonna still set boundaries. But I didn't say. I said it was a no because nothing can get in a wall and nothing can get out. So as a person yourself, you're saying that the person outside of you need to be able to do that. That is a working that you have to do on yourself, because even if they see the wall and they try to love you through the wall, it still can trigger you. So you know that you have a wall. So you have to bring that wall down yourself. That person, good kudos to them if they can help you do that. But ultimately, it's up to you to bring the wall down. That's why I said it's a no. That's why I said that.
Okay. All right.
That's why I said that.
You
And I know
control.
it to be
You
I know it
control
should
the.
be true.
You control the wall. The partner. What I said. The partner controls the movement, whether you're gonna break it down or not. If I don't come in with a level of committed and trust, you're not touching the wall. If I don't show you that I'm loving you authentically, you're not touching the wall.
Hmm.
So you control the up and down of it, but the partner controls the movement, whether you're gonna move or not.
Right.
They determine whether you are safe, whether you feel safe enough, whether you feel protected enough, whether you feel loved enough, whether you feel admired enough. And if you feel all those things because they have proven that they are who they are, then you'll go over there and press the button.
Now
And
I
that's
agree with that.
that's what I said.
That you
That's what
took
the
too
heck.
long to say
Can
it
I? You
though.
can't cuss on here, right?
You
Okay.
cuss out here, but you took too long to say it.
That's what the heck I said.
It ain't. It is, but it's short. The shorter version was better.
This,
The shorter version was better.
don't listen. Don't
No, you're
make
talking good tonight, Pastor. You
don't
talking
make me
good.
cuss tonight, please. I'm trying not to cuss tonight.
I didn't say make you get in
I,
no type of cuss worthy type of situation.
I don't want my church to hear me cuss. They never heard me cuss, so I don't want.
Did y'all like the shorter version better? Put a one.
No, because these are my folks. They're gonna definitely put a two. Say yo, whatever
I
pastor
bet. I bet they put a one.
will put that
Yes.
two in there. Watch.
No, don't do not make her put a two. The one.
No, if see liking the shorter version doesn't mean they understood it with clarity. Sometimes you've got to break it down to a level of clarity and understanding. Like the whole holiness thing. We say holiness all the time. But how many people really say who is that? Sabrina.
We like cliff notes. Okay.
Cliff notes don't always pass the test.
They always have. They always have. Don't play.
What, what was her
Cliff
name?
notes.
Sabrina?
Sabrina Smith. Don't come for my
Sabrina.
people.
Where's she
Anyway,
from? She from Wilson?
no. Sabrina, where you from? Don't play.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the cliff notes and don't you dare say go deeper or explain more. I'm gonna give you the cliff notes
I promise
on
you I
every
won't
other
say
question. Okay,
that.
watch.
You were crazy. But anyway, you went that was deep. And I like that. I like the way, we already went around everything that I wanted to say.
No, in pre-production, you sent me a whole.
I did, but you have really okay. So let me look.
Oh, so out of all them questions, I gave you the cliff note.
You get it all meshed together.
See, see now.
We don't have to go through all of that.
Okay.
But y'all, Antonio, he's really like gifted in words. And I love that about him. I do love You made that.
See,
And I love that about him for real. And
see,
so, but my thing, okay, so we talked about boundaries in relationship. And I think the relationship stuff is really getting played out. What about friends?
please,
What about
please say that. Everybody's a relationship guru,
man?
expert. Everybody.
Come
All it takes
on.
is you becoming a better you and finding somebody who has your same values
Yeah,
and loving them effectively.
right,
If you work on you, because so many people want to be a husband, and before God made them a husband, he made them a man. Before God made
right,
her a wife, he made her a woman. So
right.
many people want to be a wife and a husband, but they're not working on being good women and good men. If you become the best version of you, I
But
promise you,
the air is so thin when you become the best version of you.
yeah,
There, you don't settle
yeah,
for just anybody.
yeah,
And so, and that's why I was saying this before you came on. People really be like, "You're really single?" Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Because I'm not settling ever. I'm not settling. So if you can't bring to the table what I feel like you should bring to, and people, it's not a big list, but if you
right,
can't bring it to the table, I'm not going to settle for you
right.
just because I'm single. Don't
And
that go
I,
ahead.
I saw something um, earlier today, and I'm not a huge scroller on social
Mhm,
media. So I saw something with this guy, this gentleman that I highly respect because of the way he loves his woman.
mhm,
And they asked him, they says, how's the relationship going? And she says, let me jump in first. She said to him, she says, I'm a better woman because I met him. He's
right,
helped me. This is what she said. He's helped me manage my emotions, and not in a judgmental way, in a way that says, hey, love, you can say this a little bit different. Because, and this is what I try to get over to people, it ain't necessarily what you say, it's how you say it.
right,
And if you're always jumping off the handles and always in your emotions, well, the first time you jump off the handles, a man sees that action and that activity as aggression and will get defensive.
mhm,
And so helping somebody point out without a judgmental attitude and mentality, but helping somebody point out, she says, he's helped me be emotionally better. She says, I'm not as angry as I used to be. I don't fly off the handle like I used to. I don't, but she gives him credit for loving her through her highly emotional vacillations
mm,
into a state of consistent calm. And she credits that to him. But he couldn't teach her that
right,
unless he was exemplifying it.
right,
And so I can't tell you to be calm if I'm always in attitude.
right,
And so if you work on the best version of you, identify your flaws and work on that, you can, the relationship is out there
right,
definitively.
right.
Ah,
I agree wholeheartedly. But I want to talk about friendship because
okay.
you have some great friendships. I just want to, you do. And so they don't know why we're laughing, but we know why we're laughing. You have some great friendships, right? I want y'all to go look. If you don't know Antonio,
Don't do this. Don't do this.
no, I'm
Don't.
not going to do that. I want you to
Okay.
go look him up.
Okay.
And then the next time we're on live, then
Okay.
when I say this, you'll laugh with us. Okay, so
Okay.
just go look him
Okay.
up and follow
Yeah.
him.
I love my friends.
So
I
he
love.
has great friends. So in your friendships, boundaries have to be set, right?
Mhm.
And so all of your friends, all of y'all are busy. So I'm pretty sure you're not on the phone all the time. You're not, so the boundary set is, hey, even if you don't hear from me, you still my boy.
Right.
And I have friends like that,
Right. Right.
and sometimes I think that friends, well, I don't have friends like this, but I'm talking to people that do have friends that are very demanding. You have to set boundaries,
Hmm.
because if you can't go out because you have to write a dissertation, you have to let them know, hey, I can't go.
Right.
And you shouldn't feel a certain type of way. They shouldn't feel a certain type of way if you can't go, if they're really your friend.
Absolutely.
Friends are support systems. Friends, and if and I always say, if I have a friend that's not giving, reciprocating the same thing that I'm giving to them, they got to go. We
Right.
can't be friends.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
And I think that's the way we've established it. Um, what people don't do in relationships and friendships, and this is where disappointment comes in. We don't
mhm,
identify roles,
right,
and so if you have a misappropriation of roles, then you'll have a misappropriation of expectations, and so you'll begin to expect from people who don't really populate that role.
right,
And then when they can't manage to fulfill that particular space, now there's odds, and there's a disconnection, and there's a disappointment. I think when
mhm,
you have relationships and you have friendships, you got to be able to say this is their role, and and when you need that role, you call that particular role, because if you have expectations of this one, but they don't possess the capacity,
right,
then you're going to be disappointed. And
right,
so identify the roles and then assess the capacity. And that's what we don't do. We just think because we get along and because we can go out and kiki, go to the concert
right,
and
right,
laugh. Yo, that ain't, friendships are not built at concerts.
right,
Friendships are built when you're in contention. And so it helps me identify, can I call you when I'm fighting for my freaking life?
yes,
Or are you just my fun partner? If you
right,
just my go to the show, Beyonce, whatever, cool. If you just my go to happy hour, cool. But I have to be able to identify and say, you're that, but you're not
right,
this.
right.
And I think we mismanage those spaces in relationships. We think everybody, man, Jesus had 12 disciples, he had three close friends. And so you got to, so not that the disciples didn't have access, they just didn't have access to the intimate spaces.
Right,
And once you understand that, hey, that's my girl. And this is how we connect. And
right,
that's my girl. And this is how we connect. And
right,
that's my girl. And this is how we connect. I don't go for this over here because this don't have the capacity that this has. And so you got to be able to identify who has the substance to be able to manage you in the form of crisis. The Bible says a friend loveth at all times, but a brother is born in adversity.
mm,
And so it says there's levels to this. So I'm gonna love you, but who am I gonna call when I'm fighting?
right.
And so
That's
once you identify that, people get disappointed so many times because they call the shallow person for the deep stuff.
ain't nothing like doing
You
that
know?
is the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah. It's like, so you got to
Whew.
identify capacity. Do you have the capacity to be my girl? Do you have the capacity to be my friend? Do you have the capacity to be my close friend?
And that's how I found out that you was my friend. Because because where you go? You know what? I believe he was on his phone. And I believe that phone went out. But that's what I found out. Lord, I'm gonna take a run. That's what I found out, that Antonio Matthews was my friend. I was going through something, and he said, "Hey, you better than that. I really can't believe you are allowing this to happen." All right, you back. That's
Uh,
why you going live on the phone. That's what.
no. I'm actually on my iPad, but
Oh,
it's still yeah.
but no,
But
that's why.
I'm on sleep mode and D&D, so I don't even
Oh,
know.
somebody called you.
Yeah. So here it is. So what was I saying? Oh,
No,
you
I
was
was
getting ready to say
saying, yes, this is how I knew that you were my friend because I was going through something and you said, I can't believe you even allowing this to happen.
Yeah.
Like, Lisa, you're too freaking smart. You too,
Yeah.
what is going on?
Right.
And I said, you know what? This Negro really my friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
in that moment, you snapped me back to reality. And I
Yeah.
said, you know what? He's right. And so that's when I was like, he's really my friend. And I thank you for that. I'm gonna thank you for that right now on live.
On lot,
Thank
man,
you.
you need
Thank you.
you want to sow a seed. You want to send a seed offering. No, you just
Uh, this my nephew. You know him. He plays the organ, Santeria, a real friend is hard to come by. Hey nephew, how are you?
I think you're absolutely right, man. And if you love somebody enough and you see them, and I say this all the time. I used to think my daughter's mother was so hard on me and so crazy. I was like, she's really not hard on me. She's disappointed in me
Mm-hmm.
because I was acting beneath my capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And when people who love you see that you're acting beneath who you really are, they've got to be able to check that.
Right.
And so there are people now who have permission and access to check when I'm in a space where I'm living and acting beneath who I really am. And
Mm-hmm.
when you were in there, I was like, yo, all you got to do is just wake up.
Right.
Wake up, because there are certain things you personally, with your brilliance, with your personality, with your assertiveness, with your ideals, there's certain things you should never deal with and ever put up with.
Right.
And I'm gonna check that stuff. See,
You
y'all,
so
she
sweet.
making me, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna
But I
check it.
appreciate it. I really do. I appreciate it. Well, we are not a podcast that lingers on. If y'all enjoyed,
They got any questions before
you
I
have any
leave?
questions? Have any question? Okay. Here's a question. At the
Oh,
time that you thought that she was being hard on you, is there a way that you feel could have better conveyed her concern versus thinking it was dogmatic?
that's for me.
Yes.
Repeat it again.
When you said your I think you said your daughter's mother was hard on you.
Yeah.
She said at the time that you thought she was being hard on you, is there a way that you feel could have better conveyed her concern versus thinking it was dogmatic?
There is, but I don't think that there are certain times in your life where you don't hear stuff unless it's strong.
Mm-hmm.
And if it depends on how the person is receiving it. If I'm getting the message, then the method of whatever can be curved off. If I'm not getting the message, then there has to be some level of extremes, even if it's disconnection, even if it's saying, you know what, hey, I'm gonna let you do you until you figure out who you really are. I'll be here when you get back as a support system. However, you're not hearing me. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's why the Bible always distincts the difference between listeners and hearers.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can listen to something, but it doesn't transform me until I hear it.
Right.
Because when I hear it, it resonates in me to really make a transformational shift. And so she was harping, but when I heard it, that's when my shift came. So
Mm-hmm.
there are definitive other ways. However, it's based upon the person who is being instructed, how they're hearing you or not. And if they're not hearing you, then you just got to take some other measures to ensure that the message gets there. But yeah, it's both and
He said it's both and. Did you get
yeah.
that, Keisha? Make a money say hush. I don't know what she said. Hush. Oh
I
my god.
can't. Don't even read that. Please don't read that question.
Anyway, we trying to let that die.
Please let it
But
die.
anyway, anybody else have any questions, concerns? What? What?
I'm laughing. I'm just laughing. I'm just.
Okay,
I'm.
she
I'm.
got it.
Somebody got a question?
No, she
Oh.
said thank you. I did. All right.
Oh.
Anybody got a question for me? Anybody got a question for Antonio? What they call you, Tony, right?
No. No.
Oh,
Definitively
okay.
not.
Oh, oh,
Only people who knew Tony in free
okay.
will, like
I
Bishop
never
and
called you that, though. I called you Antonio.
no, but like my sisters and my family, yeah, Tony is a representation of an old me that that is a testimony, but not a present commodity. So Antonio is fine, but because you knew, you know, you know, you can say it, but no.
No, I won't say it. I'm good.
Man, this was fun though. I think
Yeah.
um when you should look for new friends. That's a great
Okay,
question.
here's a question. When should you look for new friends and when you should keep old friends? Whew,
Well,
that's a good question.
I think that's one and the same because new friends, old friends. Here is the reality. When should you look for new friends? When you wake up to who you are and you come to the realization that you are to be better than what you're representing, and
Mhm.
you start your initiation of growth. If your circle is either an apprehension to that growth, or if they are somebody who is hindering that particular growth, then that's when you should look for new friends. When your mind shifts to something new and something better and something different and something more purposeful, and everybody wants to keep you in that same box, that's when you should look for new friends.
I agree.
The only time you keep old friends is if you all are growing together. LeBron James is a great example. Even though I'm not a fan of his on the court, I'm a fan of his off the court
Mm,
um, because he's been a model citizen, a model man, a great representation for the game of basketball off the courts. No scandals, no anything, and he put a demand on his friends to grow with him.
mm,
If they can't grow with you, if they can't grow with you, then it's time to leave them be.
right.
I'm not saying don't go by the hood and dap them up every now and again because I still go to DC. I still go to my place where I grew up at, and I still see my old folks. However, the access or the closeness has to be different
Mm,
because you're not strong enough to pull them. They'll always pull you back into regression.
that's true.
Always. And so
Always.
once you realize, hey, this is where I'm going, and you've got a definitive destination for your life. If their values don't line up with your values, it's time for some new associates.
Yeah. And
Uh,
I agree 100%. And I always check around me. Like if you're not going where I'm going
yeah,
and you're always pulling at me,
yeah,
um I'm not going to say I ain't going to like you said I'm not saying I'm not going to talk to you anymore.
right,
But you're going to notice a big shift from when I used to call you every Tuesday to
right,
every other Tuesday to
right.
every next year Tuesday. So you just, oh, look at him. Talking about can we
Access.
be
What-
friends? You
can
got you got he got
we-
a lot of walls.
Who got a lot of walls?
You
I don't. He. What do you mean?
no Santel, he can be your organist. I tell you that.
Where
You
you
want
live,
to move to
Santel?
Denver?
Where you live, Santel?
You don't Do you know Miss Ethelene, right?
Yes.
Ethelene Reed, that's her grandson.
Okay, but where's he live?
He live in Pikeville, Goldsboro, somewhere.
Okay. So when I come preach in Raleigh, you gonna come play for me? I gotta come.
Oh, he can do it.
I gotta go to Raleigh, and
Look
it's the
at you
next month.
getting the engagement.
Okay, you gonna come? You gonna come play for me when I'm in Raleigh and Durham in the North Carolina area? I just preached in Wilson not too long ago, and I didn't have my organist with me, so that would have been helpful.
Oh,
Yeah,
Centilla,
but
he can
yeah,
bring
man,
the whole
we can
band.
break bread definitely. I got you. I
Cent-
got you, Santel. I got you. I got you. And that if I say it, I mean it. I ain't. I'm not bull jiving.
no, he's good on his words, Centilla, for
Yeah.
real.
So no, I got you. We gonna make it happen. We're gonna make the connection, no doubt. Any more questions for?
I say he got an assignment. All right. Anybody have any questions? We're gonna be potting together for the long haul. Are we?
That's too much fun. That's so much fun.
What do you mean so much fun?
Me and you, that's fun.
It is. It
Yeah,
is. You
yeah,
know,
that's gonna be fun.
I like to talk to someone that helps me, you know, think and then give my, even though we be saying the same thing, you just go the long way.
We sometimes we don't say the same things there. Sometimes we don't.
We don't. But what I'm saying is,
But I think the last note, especially in relationships, what we were talking about, learn how to identify your assets and liabilities.
yeah,
If you know how to choose assets and liabilities, you'll experience less broken hearts,
right.
less disappointment.
And you are worthy of insurance, like what he
Yeah,
said.
man, you better say that, girl. Say that.
Insure yourself.
Yeah,
It's not you being stuck up. It's not you being, oh, I'm better than everybody else. You know what you bring to the table. You got to protect that. And that's what we learned tonight.
love it.
Boundaries. Okay.
Put a pin in it.
Put a pin in that.
Yeah. Are you leaving this up?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
put a
I'm
pin
gonna
in it.
I'm gonna pull some clips too. So it'll pull people over there and over here. But yep. So y'all, I think I'm gonna put up a post and you just let us know some things that y'all want us to talk about. We can talk about anything because
Anything. Nothing's off.
we are well rounded. We can talk about anything, and I rather not talk about relationships because that
Yeah.
is they beating a dead horse.
I think that's thing. I think hopefully that's done. And
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it no more.
hopefully I don't have to be the single the unmarried pastor again.
Oh, but when I have the unmarried female pastor, you're gonna come on, right?
We'll deal with the double standard. I think that's
That's what I want you to do
okay. We'll deal
for
with it.
real.
All right, we got you.
We already got a question. Could you talk about the stages of parenthood,
Okay, we're gonna do
boundaries
that.
in family, oh, y'all, that is such a touchy subject for me.
What's that?
The
Parenthood.
the boundaries in a parental
Yeah,
relationship with my
yeah,
daughters,
yeah.
because I
I
be
think
wanting to
I think that'd be.
put them paws on.
See that's that Wilson coming out of you.
I mean, but it worked for me.
But dear, it's a different day, different time. You
It is.
can't beat anything out of
Oh,
anyone
but I can.
because this generation is a generation that there has to be a why. And
Mhm.
so if there's an explanation, see back in the day we would get beaten because our parents felt entitled that they didn't have to explain anything to us. But here's the reality. Here's what I'm learning. That it ain't that it's not that they didn't have to explain anything else. They didn't have an explanation. And so it's like, why are we doing this? Because I said so. Why are we doing? Because no, we are. transgressed, or not transgressed, we have transformed into a space of an intellectual society.
We
Here is
really
why
need,
you
we really need to go into this because I understand they want us to gentle parent, but
I didn't say I didn't, because
these
sometimes
these
hard
are not
conversations
gentle
are not
these,
gentle.
these are not gentle children. Okay. They buck up at you. Wait, your daughter ain't there yet. She gonna get there. They
But
buck up at you.
okay, but even if my daughter, who I love
Until
with
you got sweet
everything,
girls.
if she,
Go
if
ahead.
she if she bucks up at me, like
What you gonna
like
do?
she would probably buck up at her mother before she bucks up at me.
That's what I'm saying. I'm the
But
female, so I have the
and I
perspective.
will I will address that. I will definitely address that with some stern addressing. However, I don't think now I'm a proponent of whippings. I'm just not a proponent of whippings without conversation.
Okay, I do. I conversate.
Yeah, there has to be some
Wow,
level.
is happening.
We got this, Santel. We got you. We got you. Trust me.
We're
We got.
gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about what I say. Oh, could you talk about the stages of parenthood? Okay, I'm gonna talk about that. You definitely cannot parent. We're gonna talk about it next time, but I'm gonna give you this nugget right now. You definitely cannot parent a 2-year old like you parent a 12-year-old or a 16-year-old.
Absolutely.
Those stages, you have to adjust. And I think that was wrong with the parenting back when we were growing up. They didn't adjust. They
Absolutely.
always kept us in the 2-year-old frame.
Mm-hmm.
You
Absolutely.
know, they never let us get out of
Absolutely.
that.
I'm
And
with you on that.
so she said they too big for a whooping, ain't it, Lisa? I didn't say I whooped them.
That's funny. That's funny.
Let me tell you, but it worked.
That's
Anyway,
funny.
let me go before I get in trouble.
Yeah, we don't want to get in trouble tonight. We got miles to go before we
We
see.
got miles, but this has been fun. Um, I think you. I mean, you could come on with me when I talk about sports too. I mean, you watch sports just like me,
Yeah, and
but
it's unfortunate who you like, but it's okay.
what you mean by that?
I mean, because I don't know any rationally sane people who likes the Minnesota Vikings or the San Antonio Spurs. But so
Okay,
no,
who's your
no,
team?
next week, nope,
Okay, next week we'll
because
talk about it next week.
we're not gonna
We're
talk
gonna
about
talk about sports next week,
Embiid giving your rookie 70 points last night, but we're not gonna talk about that.
but we only lost by 10 points.
Doesn't matter.
Let's talk about that.
Doesn't matter. So now you happy with losing?
No, but we
Okay.
we we were supposed to lose that game, were we
Okay.
not?
Okay. All right. We'll see.
Okay, we're gonna talk about this next week because
Yeah, we'll talk
I
about it.
like a good challenge.
We'll talk
Y'all
about it.
tune in next week. Make sure you share. Make sure you like. When you get off of here, everybody that's on here, share, share, share. Because
Please.
next week we plan on being. This is our first time, but we're gonna keep on going it.
Yeah. Let's
I mean, it's
go.
time for me to go because my mouth is getting
Let's
tied
go.
up. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Bye.
See y'all later.